Greetings, Glitter Gang, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and today we are crafting live in the Measy Spring Pock-Velope album, which is a medium easy spring pocket envelope album. This is a free series, which means I give you all the measurements, and in exchange you take your own notes, so that if you want to follow along, you have a resource. And yeah, is that it? Is that all the information? I'm live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern USA time and 9 p.m. Eastern USA time. This is a subscriber only chat to keep creeps out. So if you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to chat, all you have to do is subscribe and wait 1 minute. You don't have to wait very long, and you can jump in and chat with everybody. The videos for this project will be available same day there of the live classes in the archives, and then also on YouTube on a delay. So if you've just come across this one video by accident because the algorithm said so or whatever, then you can always catch up with the project by checking the playlist, or you can subscribe and get notifications to find out when the new videos are posted as they're posted. I'm just looking for chapstick. I've got to have a lip balm in here. I have to. I have 3 tape measures. But no chapstick. Ugh. Unfortunately, we were working, my sister and I, yesterday really hard on getting a particular corner cleaned. So, my actual little area is a little bit messed up. Neosporin. Do you think I could put Neosporin as chapstick? Am I just gonna have to live with dry lips? No, say it isn't so. I think it's so, friends. I think it's so. All right, well, I guess I'll just have dry lips. What can we... Yes, we welcome all patient creeps. That's funny. Yeah, if you're willing to be patient as a creep, then there's opportunities for you here. There's opportunities for you. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I have to walk into the wind tunnel just briefly. Nope. All right, well, that's it. I give up. Just gonna have to have dry, sad, cracked little lips. Okay, so here's the Measy Spring Pock-Velope album. It's very heavy already. Those are for something else. Don't worry about them. Okay. So what we're gonna do is try and remember. Oh yeah. Okay, so what we had done is we'd done the inserts for the first 1, 2, 3 pages. Then we skipped over pages 4 and 5 because that's a layout. We have to kind of coordinate between the sides. We didn't have time to do both of them, so we skipped to the back and did the last one. So now we're going to kind of backtrack. We're going to do this one. All right, I gotcha. I know what I'm doing now. Okay. I found a chapstick. Oh my gosh. There's a Burt's Bees in a pocket of my tool bag. Who knows how many years old this thing is. Oh, okay. Whew. All right, now we just need to start pulling scraps. So that's what we're gonna do. I know I need to drink more water today, especially. I drank a ton of water yesterday. I was very, very thirsty all day. And then today, last night, my insomnia was really bad. So I didn't go to sleep until 6 a.m. or so. And I kind of was in and out, kind of napped, not really slept between, you know, around 6 and 11. And then, so my brain is on a micro capacity at the moment. I have a micro brain. Okay, so I'm just grabbing. All right, so we got some scraps. Some scraps there. Those are all actually quite cute. These look pretty nice with these. So we may do something with that. To pull some other interesting scraps. I tipped a tray of scraps out onto the floor. So, yay! Oh, that's the best. It's the best. All right. Let's see what else we've got that goes. We've got this one that we can use. Maybe that one. This one I think we've seen enough times. Maybe a little chevron stripe. Possibly this gray. I don't, nah, it's not very exciting. We've used that one quite a few times. Maybe. All right. I think we've used this one enough times. Same with these. Maybe that. Maybe that. Maybe, ooh, those two look nice next to each other. I think. Alright, so let's see, any other hidden gems? Alright, I think we're good. Ready to get going. Okay. Alright. Okay, so how do we want to lay this out? All right. We've got the 2 tags. I'm actually thinking maybe this for the tags. Just like a little colorful pop right at the top. It's like so maybe this one for the small one, and for the large one, maybe this stripe. We'll do those 2. And then for this, I think we'll do the pastels, just do a strip of those. And then next to them, what do we want to do? Something like that. Maybe. Actually think, let's do maybe that. That's pretty cute. So that's that. Oh, we need something big, I forgot, for the backs, because they have to be 6 1/4 inch square. I forgot. We'll just grab 2 sheets of something later. And then over here, I'm thinking maybe we do the anchors and the flowers for the tags at the top. And then for these, for the panel, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay, so then we just need to get out our whatever we're going to use for the back. So I pulled this earlier. I'm going to go ahead and use that because I do know it's big enough. And this one is also big enough. We can just use that airplane. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I think those are my 2 biggest scrapolas. Let me just check. There we go. All right. Okay. So let's start with the big ones. I need to make these 6 1/4 inch squares. So we'll start there. All right. So there's 1. And the other, Okay. So there's the two backs. And we'll do this one over here and this one over here. All right, so now these two that are going to go on here. This is 1 3/4 and this is 4 1/4, and they're both by 6 1/4. So okay. So there's the 1 3/4 by 6 1/4. So that's going to go right here. And then they'll cut this to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. All right. Oh, I forgot to do the insides. Well, we'll do all the outsides and then we'll do the insides. So maybe I'll just work on one element at a time so I don't get totally confused. All right. So happy Thursday, everyone. It's Thursday, May 18th, 2023. I hope all of you who celebrated Mother's Day had a good one. All right. And then we'll tape everything. And I do have templates for the holes because some of these elements will need holes. Brads as well. And I made this template in a previous episode of this series. You can check the playlist if you need the measurements. Then the next step after this is the embellishment step, where we're going to go through and add, like, you know, cue 4x6 cards, add any little sayings, all that kind of thing. Any stickers, brads, anything like that. I was a little off center there. Yeah, so my sister and I are working on, what we've been working on is the coffee corner. So we have, ordered everything that we needed for the coffee corner. Most of the stuff we already had. We're currently in a discussment, which is a discussion / argument. It's not quite at the level of an argument, but it's a little more than just a discussion over mug rail versus mug tree. For the coffee area, I ordered a 48-inch floating shelf to go over the island in the coffee area. And so what I want to do is I want to order a 48-inch mug rail. And then, as we collect cute mugs, we can hang them. I mean, I guess we can hug them too, but hang them under the 48-inch shelf. And I found a 48-inch mug rail. It's actually just pipe. It's just conduit, but like it's metal conduit. And metal conduit is what we used to use to make all of our scaffolding for our cameras and stuff. So I know it'll be plenty strong. And so that's kind of like my vision, but she wants to like set a mug tree on the island. And I'm kind of like, I'd rather have the counter space. Plus you can fit way more mugs on a 48-inch rail. Obviously, I think I'm right, so you're not going to get any arguments to her side, So. Like, I'm not going to be extolling the positives of the mug tree. Although, mug trees, as we learned from Bev, are a good way to store all your tape. Store all your miracle tape rolls on a mug tree. Put a mug tree on your craft desk. Oh, I almost stabbed myself in the heart with these. We were this close to a medical emergency. Wow. Look at me thinking I have the strength to make it through a chest wall with a pair of scissors. Okay, so I cut my string, but then I realized I didn't make a string, doohickey, so I need to think about color. Oh, see, this is why you gotta lay everybody out all at once. It's true. I think to win, I do have to buy more mugs than will fit on the mug tree. And that's also, I think, gonna be like the next argument I try is like, look, if you let me have my way with the mug tree, you can buy way more mugs. So we don't have to like rein in our cute mug collection. We don't have to think, do I have space on the tree for this cute mug? We can just get any cute mugs we wander by. So I've met Gretchen when I lived in the Northern Virginia area. She was there, I want to say visiting family. She can tell you. She probably knows why she was there. But the one of the main things that I remember and will never forget is that everyone in Gretchen's family violently hates the smell of coffee. So, because I was like, oh, we can meet at this coffee shop that's real, and she was like, yeah. That's the exact noise she made, and it was an email. Oh, a mug from each state that watches me. Oh, and countries too, I guess. A mug tree might get knocked on the floor as well. That's a good point. Well, the other thing I was thinking of, if we keep the countertop really as clear as we can, when you're bringing in groceries from the car, then, see, I thought I would be smooth and pull this one out of its holster, but no, the holster came with. When we're getting groceries in out of the car, you know, because we have to kind of move the groceries into the house in stages. Because what you have to do is you have to bring all the groceries from the car to the office. And then you have to bring all the groceries from the office to the laundry room and set them in the laundry room. And then you have to close the door from the laundry room to the office. Then you can open the door from the laundry room to the house, and you can bring all the groceries from the laundry room to the house. So I was just thinking it would enable us to at least set them on the counter. Right now we're piling them on the floor by the door, but we could at least just bring them in and set them all on the counter and not have to be putting them down on and off the floor. I mean, it's a small thing, but like, you know, one thing we've learned from living in so many different houses is that it's often the smallest things that really are maddening over time, you know. So yeah. We're just trying to save steps and stooping. You know, we're trying to save the back, the lower back, trying to save the knees, you know. No one's getting any younger around these parts. All right. So the outside of this is done, and now we need to do the inside. Which is going to take one of these and one of these. So one of each direction. Then we need a pattern paper for here and then 2 strips. So let us take a look here in the strip department. Okay. Let's use that and that. So with these, we are doing 6 1/4 inches wide, and then height is, I want to say 7/8. So pretty sure that's it. And then this one's 1 3/4 by 6 1/4, so it's already the right height. So we just need to make it the right, or sorry, it's already the right width. We just need to make it the right height. We did get the printer moved. Then we couldn't find one of its cables, so it's not connected to the computer, but you know, there's fewer and fewer places for things to hide. We're definitely getting to, you know, the bottom of most boxes. So I think this room pretty shortly we're going to be totally out of the unpacking, organizing phase and into the decorating phase. And then we, Mr. Lifeguard and I are going to order that wardrobe from IKEA and I think pick it up this weekend in Atlanta. And Atlanta has a IKEA pickup warehouse where you can't go in and get stuff. That it's only for picking things up, picking up orders. But it's on the northeast side of Atlanta, and it saves like 45 minutes of driving. So we can pick it up from that thing instead of from the actual IKEA, as long as we don't want anything that isn't available at that warehouse, because they don't have the two places, they don't have the same inventory. So they're not like taking a truck from the main IKEA warehouse to this pickup warehouse every day or whatever. That's not what they're doing. They have kind of their own inventories. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do that. Then if we can get that picked up, that'll really help the bedroom. So the goal for the weekend, the goal is to just be totally done with the office. We really do think we're at a place where we can safely make that a goal, aside from, you know, cute stuff that needs to be ordered, right? Like obviously we're not going to be totally done with decorating and all that, but with like putting up the shelf that I ordered, getting the coffee machine and all that set up, like that kind of stuff. And then I don't know if I talked about this, but the mixing valve in our sink in the kitchen broke, and so we called the home warranty and they sent somebody out and they couldn't fix it on the spot because in our sink the mixing valve is within the faucet, so he couldn't just replace the mixing valve. He'd have to get the insurance company to approve replacing the entire faucet and everything, which, you know, they then didn't. But then we at least knew what the problem was, so it was essentially a free plumbing consultation. So we ordered the new faucet with internal mixing valve, since we now know we have to get faucets that mix their own water for the kitchen. So that came, and we decided while we were at it to get an inline water filter and the little special water filter faucet to match the main faucet so that they would be from the same brand and look the same. So we did that, only they're too close to each other, the holes on the sink. So they can't both be installed at the same time, which is like our luck so far, you know. Makes sense that would be the situation. So we all were like, well, what we really need to do is we need to turn the main sink around 180 degrees so that the faucet's on the left, and we'll all just have to learn how to use it left-handed. The mixer, the thing that makes the water, that mixes the hot and cold water, the little lever. Instead of having that on the right, have it on the left, and we'll all just get used to using it left-handed, and then there won't be any room. Well, we couldn't do that because the faucet doesn't turn 360 degrees. It only turns 180 degrees. So if it was backwards, it wouldn't be able to turn to face the sink. So, and I was like, I bet there's a way around this. There's got to be. So I did some Googling, and it turns out that, yeah, all things in sinks that swivel have these little plates in them that start and stop their swivels, so they don't just like endlessly spin until they, I don't know, whatever. They all have them. So I haven't gotten Mr. Lifeguard on board with this yet, but I think we can take the sink apart, find those little plates. I know what they look like now, and then we can just turn it, because if we turn the plate 180 degrees, then the faucet will turn, you know, the opposite 180 degrees, right? Now, the alternative to trying to figure out how to engineer a faucet is to buy a diamond drill bit, hole router bit, a diamond hole router bit for the drill, and then drill a new hole in the granite and put, you know, they make hole covers for holes that you're not using, and just put a hole cover on the hole we're not using. But obviously I think it would look better if we didn't do that. And also, let's just say I don't like our chances at drilling through granite. Let me just also say I don't have a lot of faith in us in that department. I have less faith in us in that department than I do in our ability to reverse engineer a sink. That being said, unfortunately, Mr. Lifeguard and I are now in a discussment over this because he has more faith in his ability to drill a hole in the granite than he does in his ability to turn the sink around. So, you know, we'll just have to see. And we looked underneath, and the sink has the appropriate holes, but when they installed the sink, they didn't drill out all the holes through the granite. They only drilled out the 2 holes that they were going to use. So they didn't drill all the sink's holes. So most sinks have 4 holes, or at least ours does anyway, because it has the one that's kind of off to the side for like a soap dispenser or a nozzle or a water filter, some separate thing you want to do, and then the 3 holes for the sinks, because some sinks are 1 hole and some sinks are 2 holes. Some faucets are 1 hole and some are 3. So the sink has 4 holes, but the granite only has 2 holes. So it's the granite that's the problem, which is why it's really, like, it's annoying. I suppose I could maybe call the handyman and be like, hey, can you come drill a hole in my granite real quick? Maybe that's the true answer. Candy says the deciding factor should be which is cheaper to fix if you fail dismally. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm going to say I think a new faucet is probably cheaper than a new slab of granite. It's just a guess, but I think I'm right. So, okay. All right, so that's done. So now we're going to do these. So what did I say I was going to do at the top here? Was I going to do this? No, this was going over here with this, right? Okay. Oh, I was gonna use the little anchors, and well, I don't remember what I was gonna do, but right now I'm gonna do these. I'm just gonna use these because I forgot, and it doesn't really matter anyway. Okay. So I just need to measure what I made these strips. I think these are also 7/8, but let's just double check. Oh, they're 1/2 inch, so good thing I double checked. So then we should at least start with the faucet, is what then, because if we mess up the faucet, then we will have to replace the faucet and then hire someone to come out and drill a hole in the granite, or buy the diamond drill bit. Probably hire someone to come out and drill a hole in the granite, because then it'll be their fault, right? If the if the granite cracks. So, and what I should probably do is just have them drill. Oh, I need 2 of these. Yes. Probably just have them drill all the holes that are in the sink. And then we'll just get covers for any that we're not using, so that I don't ever have to have anyone come out and drill holes in the granite again. So at least think ahead, but, and of course it's all complicated by the fact we can't just drop in a new sink because they undermounted it. So we'd have to pry up the granite to swap out the sink. And I like the way an undermounted sink looks, but you know, I do see the practicality now in not doing that. Yeah. Alright, I forgot I have to like eyeball these. Yeah, I mean, I know people like the way they look. I like the way they look, and that it's like easy to sweep stuff off the counter into the sink if you've, you know, been prepping vegetables for a meal. But it's just if anything goes wrong, then it's just trapped there under the granite. So ugh. I forgot to chomp these before I cut them, so now I'm having to do this again. Okay. All right. We gotta remember to chomp those first. So anyway, so the sink problem is not solved totally. But in the meantime, everyone prefers the new sink. We just can't hook up the spout for our water filter. So I guess we could just not have a water filter. That would also be a way to do it. But it would be nice to have one, so we'll see. And I always like to drink filtered water, not because it's just because one time I got a letter from my county, and so when I lived in Northern Virginia, I lived in Fairfax County, which is one of the richest counties in the country. And I worked in Arlington County, which is one of the richest counties in the country, okay? And so this is not a money issue, what I'm about to say, but when we got an email from our employer that they'd been notified by the county that there were technically safe levels of lead in the water in the building for people who weren't elderly, immunocompromised, or pregnant, or children. And so we could all continue to drink the water, no problem, as long as we didn't fall into one of those groups. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm not drinking the water here anymore. Absolutely not. So I am, nope. That is not happening. So I stopped drinking the water at work, and I started drinking filtered water at work. And then like with a Brita filter, because I was like, well, hopefully it's slightly less lead. So then around the same time, I got a letter from Fairfax County, which is where I lived, that said, from this date to this date, life-threatening levels of this deadly brain parasite were detected in the water in routine testing. And these dates were like 3 weeks in the past. Okay. So 3 weeks in the past. And the letter basically said something like, if you're in the hospital and your doctor doesn't know what's wrong with you, like, please show them this letter and then they'll know how to treat you, was essentially what the letter said. So it was like, if you're currently dying in the hospital of a brain parasite, but you and your doctor don't know you're dying in the hospital of a brain parasite, well, now you know. Now you know. And so that's when I was like, okay, I just don't think I'm ever going to drink water that comes out of a tap from a municipality, like, ever again. I think I'm just going to have to not trust water. And this might have even been before, like, Flint and Jacksonville and all of that. So, like, I just, these are, like, this is not money. They just don't care, so, yeah. So that's why I don't drink tap water anymore, because I don't want lead poisoning or deadly brain parasites. So that's cool. Yeah, they always are like, it's actually too late for you to do anything about this, because we're so behind on testing water that we're a month behind. But, if you have a mystery illness, congrats. I guess now you know what it is. Not Jacksonville, Jackson. Did I say Jacksonville? Jackson. Yeah, for cooking, that's what we're going to do, Ella. So we're going to get one that's in line with the sink line, so we can have its special faucet for, like, pasta water and making ice and drinking. And so things like that. Anything we're going to consume, is what we are going to use it for. We looked up the filters that just go under your sink and just on Consumer Reports, and we ordered a good one. So hopefully, you know, we learned from Consumer Reports that some of them use a lot of water, so we were able to minimize, we were able to kind of look at the different amounts of water that they use and get one that doesn't use a ton of water, so we're not, like, I don't want to say wasting water, because you're using it's just getting used in the filtration process somehow, but to minimize how much water we're using, I guess I would say, additional water we're using. But yeah, I've just I'm just too scared to drink water. I mean, I'll drink, every once in a while I'll drink it. If I'm really thirsty and there's no other kind of water around, I'll drink it, because I figure sparingly it's probably fine. But after those two experiences, I was like, you're never going to convince me that any amount of lead is safe. I think what you mean is not so toxic you're going to have to go to the hospital. I don't think you mean safe, I think you mean a level I can probably tolerate as a healthy 20-something, but that's not the same as safe. Okay. Alright, so this is the 6.5 inch tab, and I'm going to use this stripe. So what I'm going to do is cut it to 6 1/4, and then chomp it, and then cut it a 1/2 inch strip, and then chomp it again and cut a 1/2 inch strip. Alright, it already is 6 1/4, so I can just go ahead and chomp it. So yeah, we will get that all sorted out, but for now, well, the problem will be solved if we just try to turn those thingies in the sink around. And then we won't have to buy a new sink or anything else, Oh, I cut it off. I mean, I literally said the words and then just didn't do it. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So yeah, so we'll get that sorted out this weekend. So the main projects for this weekend are to finish off the coffee corner of this room and to and then to try and sort out the sink one way or another. Hopefully we can just turn those little plates around. They literally are just little discs, and it looks like you just rotate them 180 degrees and then put the faucet back on facing the other direction, and you're totally fine. So hopefully it's that simple. And I haven't been lied to by the internet. I know, I keep waiting for the part where it's cheaper and better than living in an apartment. People keep telling me that. But so far, we're not there. So and then a stretch goal will be or we could return the faucet and get one that's already facing the other way. Good point. Good point. Well, that's what I think, Gretchen. If it's on the internet, it's true. That's the rule, right? So, but Gretchen says she takes her own water to work because the office water tastes gross and wonder what was in it. And it's like, well, it could have been lead or a brain parasite or just sulfur, a little bit of a mineral that you didn't like. Who knows? That's the problem. You have no idea. No clue. All right. That's the problemo. But anyway, so currently right now we get, for drinking water, we have water delivery from the companies that deliver the 5-gallon jugs, and then you give them the empty jugs and they return you filled ones, one of those companies. Because I don't want to, like, I'm not into the idea of having, like, buying bottles of water either. So, so that's what we do. And we use that for drinking and ice, and we've been using tap water for cooking. So, you did, you missed out. You missed out. If only you'd gotten lead poisoned by a brain parasite, you could be a millionaire now. Although my ex-brother-in-law, who was a lawyer, said you never want to be someone who wins $1 million in a lawsuit. He said, because if you win $1 million in a lawsuit, that means something really, really terrible happened to you. So, better to just not be a millionaire. That was his, what he had to say. Bev says she worked at a school that had some kind of problem like that, and they had to bring bottled water for the entire school until they figured out how to fix the problem. At least they did that, I guess. But, you know, of course, that's, you know, its own problem and wasteful and whatever else. So, but, all right. So these are done. So this page is now done. Okay. So this side of the page is done. And now all we have to do is this side of the page. Okay. So we were going to do this. All right, yep, we're gonna put that there. Oh, that's cute, little row of chalks. Cute. All right, and then that's gonna go next to it. So that's that, and then, oh, this was supposed to go on the back, but I cut it and now it won't fit. Okay. We're gonna put the anchors and the brown stripe at the top. So we just need something to go on the back. Oh, and we need a closure for that. And I'm gonna go ahead and let's do this kind of watercolor looking paper. This is already taped. Maybe we'll put it inside. And are you 6 1/4? Maybe we'll get, yes. Okay, so we'll put these on the inside of this. So we just need a back for that, and then and a closure, and we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and use this for the closure. and it'll just look a little like crafty. All right. All right, so for this one's already cut and it's already taped, so I must have been planning to use it on another page and then just didn't. So we need to, this one's cut, this one's cut. So this one needs to be cut and these two need to be cut. All right, so this is 6 1/4. And then tape, and then chomp, and then cut again. And so then our stretch goal will be to do the IKEA wardrobe. And it may just be that the IKEA wardrobe gets pushed back another week. And we don't work on the bedroom just yet. Which is okay, because like it doesn't look very nice in the bedroom right now. But we don't like hang out in there, you know, like we don't like watch TV in there and stuff like that. So it's not the end of the world, you know, it's not ruining our lives or anything. So So if it gets pushed off another week, it gets pushed off another week. And I keep thinking like, oh, it's taking forever to get all this stuff done. What is going on? And then I remember our first full day in the house was March 14th. So it's just now 2 months. Just now 2 months. And so perhaps we should all be cutting ourselves some slack around here. So, perhaps. All right, so then these, we just need to cut 1/2 inch strips because it's already the correct length and it doesn't need to be chomped. Except it's not 1/2 inch, these are 7/8. Of course. So that's 7/8 and 7/8. Okay, so now we just need to do the smaller one. So that's this one. So it needs to be 4 1/4. And then we'll tape it, chomp it, cut it, tape it, chomp it, cut it. As we said last week. And once more. And then we just need to pick a new back for this guy, and we're all set. All right. So for the back, we need something 6 1/4 inch square. And I'm just gonna do this, because this is a big sheet of paper and I don't have to cut anything new. Maybe I'll do the more colorful side. We'll see. Now let's do the words. It fits more softly with those. Okie dokie. We can start sticking stuff down. So I'm just gonna put into a stack all of these, because they're all gonna go together. I'm gonna set them off to the side here and work on just the 2 tags. Try to get them done really quickly. Ooh. So Melanie said she got all her photos ordered for her retreat, and she's got a year's worth of photos, and she swears she's not going longer than 2 months in between photo orders from now on. Yes. I remember back when I had an external hard drive die, and I came on YouTube and did a PSA about how it's important to print physical copies of your most important photos, and backing up to the cloud or backing up to your external hard drive isn't enough, because they can fail and you can either lose all your photos or have to pay a lot of money to have them retrieved, which is what I did. I paid money to have them retrieved, and I was lucky. I had over 3,000 files on that hard drive, and they were able to get back all but 3 of them. So, I mean, that's an incredible amount. So I was very happy, but you know. So anyway, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to, once a month, I'm going to print all my photos, da-da-da. Please. Has not happened. Has not happened. I mean, you should still do that. But, you know, I'm not doing it. But this is a do as I say, not as I do kind of situation, you know. So, yeah. This is the last tag this size we need to mat in this album. We are really still just rocketing through this book. Rocketing through it. I mean, I think we've been working on it for like, has it been 2 weeks or 3? It's either 8 hours or 12 hours. So honestly, really good work. Really good work. Oops. right. Yeah, now I have my photos in 3 places. Well, I have them on, you know, whatever device they were captured on, phone, whatever. If it was on the phone, everything also backs up to my OneDrive, and my OneDrive I back up to my NAS, which is my network attached storage, which is like a like an external hard drive on steroids, basically, is what that is. And so then, I was going to say we have one too many of these, but we don't, because it goes inside the thing. So we don't have one too many of those. We have 4 too many of these. Wait. Aha! I didn't do these. We have the exact right amount. We have the exact right amount. So I have all my photos in many, many places. And then once a year, I back the NAS up to Kathryn Scraps' box account. So I have everything in a ton of places. But it's probably good to have hard copies. You know, what are we going to do if, like, there's a wild electromagnetic storm and electronics don't work anymore? Like in, what's that show? There was some show, Revolution, about how they don't have power anymore because of something knocked out all the computers. I don't think it was a show that lasted a really super long time, but maybe it did. We watched a few episodes, but it was like on TV, and we just really don't follow up with stuff that's on TV. Anymore. We're just way out of the habit. But in the there's nothing new under the sun department. Oh yeah, if it's in an album, then yes, that's the most safe archive. That younger people don't want to binge watch or marathon watch television shows anymore. They want to watch shows 1 episode at a time so that they can create fandoms and have water cooler conversations and feel like they're all, you know, having the same experience with a bunch of people. And I read this article about Dracula, A Year of Dracula, and I guess this is the 100th anniversary. Is it the 100th anniversary of the year Dracula takes place, or the 150th anniversary of the year Dracula takes place? Something like that. But all the dates in the letters, because Dracula is a series of letters, someone set up a service where they mail you on the date the letter is dated. They mail you that letter, so everyone is experiencing Dracula a chapter at a time, a letter at a time together. And they have like old school internet forums where they're talking about it and everything. And, you know, how much better that is than just reading the book, I guess, by yourself, which I can see, you know, reading it and chatting about each letter with other people and trying to piece things together could be fun. But anyway, so yes, now we're going to have a bunch of think pieces about how cable's not dead, actually. Everyone wants it back. What we don't want anymore is streaming. And we can add that to the list of, like, what else? Terms I hate. Quiet quitting. Hate that. Such a dumb term. What else? Oh, all the articles about how everyone's just dying to go back to the office, even though it doesn't seem like anyone is dying to go back to the office. All right, so we've got that. All right. I do too, Ella. On that, I don't. If I have to follow a show from week to week, I just don't have the. I never did, so it's not like I used to do it before, and now I don't anymore. What I used to do before, actually, was I would rent the DVD seasons of TV shows when they were in their off season, and then I would just watch them in the off season. So I would be always kind of caught up, but not really. Kind of caught up, but not really. So I've always wanted to watch them all at once. Or when DVRs were a thing, I would just wait until I had a whole season or half a season and watch a bunch of them all at once, and then not watch it for a while and then watch a bunch of them all at once. Maybe DVRs are still a thing if you have cable, but I do not have cable, so. Yeah, I mean, the people who want people to come back to the office are people who are heavily invested in commercial real estate, and that does not tend to be employees. Or micromanaging control freaks who also tend not to be average employees, tend to be management. And if middle management doesn't have anyone to micromanage, what even are they doing? You know, well, if you are the kind of person that never wants something, they'll just have to manage each other. Yeah, maybe just middle managers can go back to work and they can supervise each other. They can take turns. They can just take turns. Thank you very much, Barbara Jean. Yeah, Candy, it would be good to see the rise of like a semi-permanent co-working space where you know, companies, rather than employees leasing the desks from the coworker, employers could lease like smaller suites that the equipment would be in them, so they could be easily turned over for other companies to lease the same suite. You know what I mean? Something like that would probably be better. You know, there is that social aspect to work that people do miss, but they don't miss it like they don't miss it more than they like hate commuting. You know what I mean? Not most people. So, and employees who want to go back to the office, if the office is still there, then I guess, you know, they can go back to the office. Like, you know, if someone wants to be in the office all the time, as long as there's an office, why not? All right. So, I got to tape everybody now. Like most things, it's probably not one size fits all. But I think a lot of these companies are kind of leveraged in a way where they can't be nimble. So like, you know, thinking of these tech companies that built these massive campuses in Silicon Valley where it's the most expensive real estate in the country and stuff, you know, and then so it's like, well, yeah, they're heavily invested in that. Of course they want to be using it or doing something with it to recoup the investment, or in like New York City where commercial real estate is, well, any city, commercial real estate is big business. But like there are some cities where that's like the business, you know. So, sure, I get it, but it's just like malls, man. You know, at some point it's like, okay, we're just going to have to give up on the idea that this building is going to be a mall and figure out something else. Times change. We have to evolve and adapt our thinking. Like I learned something about, and this is really, when I learned this, this made me really mad. So really like companies that build like big box stores, like Best Buy, Amazon, or not Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, places like that, Target. So when they build shopping centers for their big box stores to be the anchors, a lot of them get massive tax breaks from the cities or whatever, essentially paying no taxes in many cases. So they're not contributing to the city at all in terms of money. And they, in their deals with the cities, they have, if they like abandon the building, right, then it can't, the building can't be used for a like purpose. So if Target comes to your town, gets a massive tax break to do business, doesn't make enough business to actually flourish and thrive, goes out of business. The reason that Target building is still empty 10 years later is because they cannot put another retailer in there similar to Target, which is the only kind of company that would want a building like that, would be a similar type of company. So, so they just sit empty. Yeah, see, that's a good use. It's just one of the places Mr. Lifeguard and I looked for houses. I forget which city it was in, but their government had completely taken over the mall. And so the movie theater was still there and the food court, but there weren't any stores. It was all the government offices, like the DMV, and there was like a technology training school there for the government employees to learn how to use computers or whatever. And the only reason we even knew about that was because like we went there to go to the movies because we had time to kill before, I want to say before a flight. And we saw what they were doing with the mall, and we thought that was really interesting and a good use of the mall. I watch a lot of urban planning and architecture and engineering videos because I think it's really interesting how kind of cities get made and who makes the decisions and do they even make sense and that sort of thing. And one thing the structural engineer was talking about is how a lot of people are like, well, just turn the mall into apartments. And she said, you just can't. I mean, you can, but it's actually more expensive to do that than it is to demolish the mall in a way where you recycle as much of the material as possible. So when you strip the mall, you know, you do it in a way where you are keeping all the copper wiring, like anything you can salvage, you salvage. So you demolish the mall in a responsible way. You recycle as many materials as you can into the new structure, and then you build the new structure. She said that's actually cheaper and better for the environment in a lot of cases than trying to retrofit a mall into a whatever else you want to do with the mall, especially for living, because you've got to have bathroom in every single store. You've got to have a kitchen in every single store. Each unit has to have its own air conditioning. Like, it's more complicated for that than it is for like turning it into offices for the city, for example. So, you know, I do think that municipalities are going to have to take over malls and do things with them. But I think, like, I just said, you know, I was like, well, we're just going to have to be smart about like what we do with them. And then I just thought about local government for a second, and then I got depressed, and now I'm sad. So, because if you've ever wondered what the most corrupt level of government in the United States is, it is the local government. It's much more corrupt, even though it would boggle the mind. It's just way more corrupt than the federal government is, because it just doesn't have anywhere close to the level of scrutiny that the federal government does. Like, I read a story once about the mayor of Baltimore or some city councilman in Baltimore who was responsible for the schools, made the school system spend $300,000 on a children's book they wrote or something like that. And it's just like, come on. Come on. Can't you be subtle at least? But they don't even need to be subtle. That's because it's the most, you know, because no one pays attention. So, you know. All right. And that's why you have great. That's the best, Gretchen. I can't figure out. I learned that the medical marijuana status in Georgia is determined by municipality, and I was just like, do I think that's a good idea or not? Because on the one hand, it would mean that the actual like local government is going to make the decision theoretically in the best interests of the people living in that municipality and what they want, and then any kind of tax money would go straight to them or whatever. But yeah, it's all about money. The tax implications for medical marijuana, or well, not even just medical marijuana, I don't know what kind of, if it's recreational, it's even more money. But yeah, tons of money to be made from legalizing drugs of all kinds. Tons and tons and tons. And not just by the people who are selling them, but like, you know, the municipalities that are drowning in debt. Be a great way to get tax money. Be a great way to get tax money. So. But yeah, last night I watched a video on how Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia public schools, they have to take out some insane amount of money, $500 million, a $500 million bridge loan, I want to say every single year, because there's like a 6-month gap between when they need to start covering their expenses in the school district per law and when they get their tax money per law, right? So every single year, it's just part of routine business. The Philadelphia Department of Schools has to take out a $500 million bridge loan to operate the schools for 6 months until they get their tax revenue. And I was just watching this video, like, how did this happen more than once? You know what I mean? Like, you cannot tell me there is not another way to do this. Like, you cannot tell me that there isn't a way to solve this problem. I was like, are you kidding? Like, well, that's a good question, Candy. And law enforcement unions are very, very powerful. And the prison ones usually get kind of looped in with those here. So a lot of times when it's like, well, the police department wants this, it's also, and the private prison. So, and I came from Florida, which is like, where they take prisoners from other states. Like it's a business there where they import them, I guess. So, but yeah, so that's like not just a business as in like Florida prisoners, but like they're actually making money off of like prisoners from Virginia and prisoners from North Carolina and whatever, you know. So they house prisoners not even from around there. So, and they make big money. So anyway, okay, all right. Well, guess what? We are done matting. Oh my gosh, we're done matting. And ready to embellish. Oh, it's so thick and chunky already. Look at it. Oh, it's coming apart. It's coming apart because of this one right here. This one's the one that's putting the pressure. You can see how it's something about this one. I think it's that the brads line up perfectly on this one. And so they make it, it's making it extra thick here. So there's a part of me that wants to unbind it and make the gutter bigger before we embellish. So I think we'll do that. So what I'm going to do is in the next video, I'm going to show you, how I would take apart an album like this and change the binding. Now that I see that I'm starting to get stuffed, more stuffed that I want, and what would I do about that when I'm already at this stage. So let's see if we can, like, in any kind of sensible, reasonable way, take it apart and extend the space in between the pages. Okay. And we'll do that. So that is what the next video will be. So this video is 90 minutes, so that'll be pretty short, but in the next video I'll show you how to do that, and then tonight when we come back we'll start the embellishing phase of the album. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful well, let me start over. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see what happens next, just click to the next video in the archives, or if you're watching on YouTube, check to see the next video in the playlist. If there isn't one there yet, it'll be there in a day or two, don't worry. If you're watching live, just hang tight. Nothing's going to change for you. The show isn't quite over yet. So thank you so much for watching. Check the video description for when I'll be live and links to how to access the archives and other good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.